I don't want to be that person to give like a negative review, because I am, for the most part, I do give a good shot to palettes, but this is looking very chalky. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Smashbrush. So today I'm going to be doing a very exciting video. This is going to be a review on the newest palette by Morphe, which is the Morphe X James Charles palette. To be completely honest with you, this is actually going to be my second time using this. I just recorded a look using this palette, and to be completely honest, I was not impressed at all. And I started doing my research to see if anybody else was having the problems that I was having, and I wasn't seeing it, so I figured I'd give this palette another try and a fair review. I know with this palette there was like a couple instructions that you were supposed to do using specific primers, or just at least an eyeshadow primer, in which I did do, but I feel like there was definitely something wrong that I did, just because I was seeing such amazing looks by people and it just wasn't happening for me as far as like how they would lay out instantly as soon as they would touch my eyes and things like that. So I figured, you know what, let me just give this another look. Let's see how it comes out, and then I can give my full and honest review. Yeah, if this is a video that you're interested in, then just keep watching, and without further ado, let's get to it again. I remember seeing a part of James' video when he was talking about his palette. He was talking about actually using something more of a tacky base to really hold off the colors, because it's super pigmented. Basically, for it to really stay onto your eye, you do need a tacky base. So he didn't recommend a concealer. For the first video that I recorded, and I'll probably show some parts here and there, that way you guys can see what I'm talking about, I used a MAC paint pot on this eye, and then I used a concealer on this side to see the differences. And obviously you can see that some of like the pink colors did stay on my eye, and that's nothing to be alarmed, because I know when pigment is very strong, specifically with reds and pinks, for me, like my skin is just so sensitive, so I'll always have like some kind of like pink left there. It happens with me with every single palette, does not matter the brand, so it's nothing to be alarmed if it does happen to you. As you can see, the one where I didn't use the base, that's why the color stayed there. So I figured I would change up my color schemes just to be able to try out other colors as well. I'm gonna be doing this eye, and then I'll do this eye off camera later on. This is my Urban Decay Potion Primer eyeshadow primer. I used to go through these like crazy, and then I just stopped. Now, one thing I always remembered with eyeshadow bases, to work with the colors quickly, because I know certain primers and bases, especially when they're more tacky, they tend to dry out a little, like a lot faster. So I'm gonna be using this fluffy brush, and I'm gonna pick up the color Skip. It is a super pink color, and I'm just gonna apply it right in my crease area. Yeah, and I can already see how like super pigmented it is. I did not have an issue with this color on my first time. This color was actually one of the colors where I was all like, whoa, like this is super out there, and I am loving it. And with a much skinnier brush, I'm going into that color Pinkity Drinkity, and I'm just gonna soften the edges here. I am gonna wing this out a little bit more. The next color I'm going to be using is the color Single. It's like a more purpley color, and I'm just gonna be applying it right underneath that. Oh yeah, you see? Now that is blending like a dream. Oh my gosh, this blended out beautifully. See, why didn't this happen to me the first time? I'm gonna go in with this color Ring Light and just highlight my brow bone. Okay, yeah, I have to say so far, way better than the first time. Basically, what I did do differently is, you know how sometimes like with matte colors specifically, sometimes the top layer is like super dried out because it's like new, it hasn't been touched. I swatched the colors already that I'm gonna be using. So I took off that top layer, and I don't know if that's why it's delivering better or the primer that I'm using, but yeah, this is like a million times better and so much easier to work with. And going in with that color Escape, I'm just gonna be doing the edges right over here. Okay, This is giving me like a ray of hope, guys. Like, you have no idea how traumatized I was on the first time. It was not coming out anything like this. It was so hard to work with. Okay, so this is the part where I get a little scared. I'm gonna have to use the MAC paint pot, and I feel like I had an issue with this the first time around, and I'm scared of using it, but I feel like I am gonna need it. Let's see. I'm gonna try to use a mixture of that and the Urban Decay primer, and I'm just gonna mix it in together and cut my crease with that. Okay, and I'm grabbing that color ring light again and just applying it in my very inner corner. And now I'm going to be grabbing that color Hello and just applying it right in my lid area. That color swatched super pretty, but I am not feeling it here. So what I am gonna do, again, to be fair, I'm just gonna apply a little bit more base primer just right over this, because sometimes I know, like, when it comes to tacky primers, they tend to dry out really, really quick. And I'm gonna be using my finger this time. You see, like, a whole lot better. And then grabbing that color Brother, I'm gonna put it right here towards like the closing edges. Grabbing that color Escape once again, just to kind of close off this color right over here. Okay, you have no idea how much more relieved I am from working from this to what I did previously. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this eye, apply some liner, apply my lashes, and then I'm gonna come back to finish off the bottom part of my eye. Okay, so I finished both eyes, and I have to say I am actually very impressed on the outcome of how it's looking so far. I'm actually really happy with these color choices. Anyways, I don't want to talk about too much about this review. So what I want to do is basically finish the under eye part of my eye. So grabbing that color Skip, just want to make sure, I want to say this is like the biggest thing you want to make sure you do is just tap out all the excess. You see all the like the stuff on my hand. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this right on my under eye area. I think I want to like really smoke this out, so I'm gonna drag this a little bit lower than usual. Yeah, and I think I want to drag it and kind of like connect it here. Alright, and now I'm going to this color Brother again, and basically I'm just gonna apply it very close to my, like right underneath my waterline. And now going in with that color Escape one last time, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it mainly towards like the outer edge, like right around this area. Perfect, and then let's just go ahead and add some mascara. And to finish off this look, I'm just gonna add a little bit of a white highlight right in the inner tear duct of each eye, just to give it like that nice pop of shade. Perfect, and this is basically my completed look, so let's go ahead and dive into this review. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about my second impression on this palette, things that I did differently, pros and cons, and yeah. So let's start off with the pros of this palette. I love the fact that there's just so many colors that you can choose from this palette. There's so many different looks, endless possibilities. I know some of these can be used, I believe, as highlights. I love the way this specific eyeshadows, like the way they really blend it out nicely. This eye took me so much less time than it did the first time, and I want to be a little bit clear and talk a little bit more on that specific part. When watching James Charles' video, he had mentioned that he would recommend a MAC paint pot, or he also uses the Morphe primers. I decided to go with the MAC paint pots, and I used this all over my eye, but I do have to say that I feel like it was way too drying. The very first time I used this palette, which is this look right over here, the colors came out gorgeous, but it took me like an hour and a half to do this look, and I had to really work with it. It's not that the palette was bad, it's just With this specific palette, this goes with one of the cons of the palette. You have to play with it. You can't just use anything. Like, you have to use specific things to really make it work. Once you find those things that work for you, like, oh my gosh, the colors blend like a dream. This eye look, I feel like took me less than half an hour probably to do. It is like so awesome how much the time was cut down and how easy, enjoyable, and effortless it was to blend these colors. When I was trying the palette for the first time, I'm like, why are these not blending? Why is this looking chalky? Like, it wasn't making sense, and I was getting really disappointed because I had such high expectations for it. So then I was like, maybe it's something with what I did. I used the Urban Decay eyeshadow potion primer, and let me tell you, this made all the difference in the world. I have not used the Morphe one, but I did use the MAC one, and this does not work well with this palette for me specifically. If you've used it and it works for you, great, keep using it. I don't know if this is meant for the everyday person. If a palette is gonna be that difficult to work with when it comes to applying the shadows, I feel like it should have the primer included. I mean, I have my own primers, there's no issues, but when it comes to someone else, someone who is expecting just amazing or has not seen that video because they just saw it in the store and said, hey, that palette looks pretty cool. If they don't have that primer, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this sucks. So I don't know if maybe there should be something included within the packaging itself that says, hey, by the way, must use a good primer, or if not, they should really include it. That's about the cons that I would have to say. I give it 100% thumbs up on having to using it with a primer, because if you don't, I think you're gonna be a little bit disappointed. But when you make it work, I see the potential of creating such beautiful and amazing colors. I myself am a bridal makeup artist. However, I have so much fun being able to create such fun and vibrant colors. So when I see this, I'm like, oh my gosh, like my mind is going all over the place. Like, I can do this and I can do that. I'm super excited to see what I'm able to create. If you guys have tried out this palette yourselves, I would love to know your opinions. If there's anything that maybe I can learn, or maybe that I didn't understand clearly from the James Charles video, please let me know what I can change. I have been doing makeup for a long time, but I am learning still every single day because there's just new things out there. There's new techniques. Any artist can continue learning every single day. It does not matter how long you've been doing makeup. Yeah, that is basically it. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. That way you're notified when it is that I have uploaded. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below on anything, whether it is new techniques, whether you've tried it, your thoughts, anything, just let me know. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It is at Smashbrush _ at the very end. And that is basically it. I hope you guys got to enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.